Imagine the middle of the ocean, 2 wild islands, and an absolute zero in the account. And this is precisely how we're beginning our most hardcore series of all. It's a one-on-one battle with the FS Master himself. We are literally starting from scratch, and my entire fortune consists of this humble Landini tractor with a mower attached. My goal is to turn this grass into a green empire, but look over there. See that island with the forest? That's our gold mine, the key to making us rich, as long as we get there first, of course. If you want to follow this race for fortune, make sure to subscribe. Every minute here is going to be crucial. On my other channel, you typically only see quick time lapses, but here I'll show you real sweat and a fight with nature. This zero to hero start, stranded in the middle of the ocean, truly tests both my patience and strategy. I really need to manage every single dollar perfectly, so I don't drown in debt before we even catch a glimpse of the very first trees on the horizon. Enough planning and theory, it's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work, because the grass won't cut itself and the competition never sleeps. Meanwhile, I'm just finishing up the first cut on my starting plot. I'll hook up the trailer in a second and head straight to the collection point to see the first real cash injection into our empty account. You can also check out this very map we are playing on today over on my Patreon if you want to take on this challenge yourself. I'm really curious how many trailer loads we can squeeze out of this. Every dollar is worth its weight in gold right now, because my priority is investing in a bigger mower. Working with this small equipment would probably take me ages, and in this race against my neighbor, we can't afford to waste any time. We've already reached over 50% capacity, so that first profit is practically guaranteed. The collection point on this map works just like on the American Riverbend Springs. Let me know in the comments if, by some miracle, I somehow mispronounced that name. The first delivery is landing at the selling point. This is our moment of truth. Over $1,100 for a partial load? That truly gives me a tremendous amount of hope. I'm setting my sights on a new mower and a better tractor now, but I must carefully count every penny so that leasing costs don't swallow me whole at the start. We'll see who comes out on top. Me or my neighbor, the FS Master. The competition won't be easy, because we both know the trees on that island are the fastest path to riches. The one who arrives there first and begins selling wood chips will secure an insurmountable advantage. It's going to be a brutal race to see who can snatch that precious wood from nature first. The biggest problem is that rather deep ditch hidden within the water. Driving a tractor straight through the current will end with the machine sinking instantly. The grass is all mowed now, so I'm launching plan B and leasing a tedder. I want to squeeze the absolute maximum profit out of this small island. Hay is worth substantially more than grass, so despite the additional effort, I'll be much better off financially in the end. We'd have to wait too long for silage, and I need cash for expansion right here, right now. Maybe I can make a few bales for later before the end of this episode, all in good time. My neighbor probably thinks I'm wasting time on tedding right now, but I know what I'm doing. A solid strategy from the start is key to success, especially when starting from scratch. We'll see if his haste can outrun my patience, or if I'll win out in the end. Let's check out what the real profit will be from a trailer full of hay, especially when we compare it to the grass I just finished selling. The FS Master is probably already scheming on his island. I wonder if he's also going for hay, or just mass-producing grass. We'll soon see whose tactic wins. The profit from the hay absolutely blew me away. I earned just as much from it as I did from a full trailer of grass before, even though the volume was less. That's a crystal clear signal that it's time for some serious investments, so I'm leasing a professional Samaz mower that's a perfect match for my 120 horsepower Landini tractor. Just look at the colossal difference this makes. Finally, that vexing 10 km per hour limit has vanished, and now we're absolutely flying across the field at a vigorous 22 km per hour. This is a whole different ball game entirely. I genuinely feel like I'm really back in the game and starting to close the gap on my neighbor. The FS Master opted for a front-mounted mower and a forage wagon, directly attached to the back of his tractor. However, my rear-mounted mower is much wider, which gives me a significant advantage in cutting area, even though his setup appears to clear the field considerably faster. The only question is whose tactic will prove to be more profitable when it comes to calculating the costs. For now, I'm just focusing on drying grass for hay to earn some initial capital, but I'll soon be leasing a rake and a baler to really kick off mass production of silage bales. It's the silage that will give us the biggest cash injection, which I'm counting on in the next episode. Of course, that's not even counting the lumber sales, since they should significantly boost our bank account, but first we absolutely must reach the other island. I really need to buckle down and churn out a much better result than my neighbor, who's constantly fiercely strategizing with his unique custom set of machines. I definitely prefer collecting grass that's been raked into windrows first, but unfortunately, I haven't earned enough for a grass rake yet, and have to make do with the old ways. At this point, I'm giving up on drying more grass, because right now, all that matters is selling the mowed grass as quickly as possible. We need to earn money for more machines as fast as we can, so we don't get left behind in this wasteland. My neighbor's already wrapping and stacking his bales by the shop. I, however, plan to be much smarter and stash my produce deep within the field, so he won't see my progress. Let him believe I'm doing worse than I actually am. We finally have $3,300 in the account, which will allow me to lease my very first baler and a decent rake. I'm picking up the equipment and going on the attack against the remaining grass. This island is quite massive, and I fully intend to extract every single drop of green gold from it. Every single square meter of this entire island needs to be perfectly cleaned up right now. I simply cannot afford any waste whatsoever, because in this challenge, every single cut directly translates to our survival and future financial power. This is the moment when precision becomes more important than speed. The FS Master is likely smirking to himself, eyeing my small mower, while he's probably already leased much bigger equipment. However, this rivalry is really just starting to heat up now. Starting out on these islands can definitely be monotonous, but it's precisely this painstaking mowing that lays the groundwork for our future, magnificent agricultural empire. My plans now include clearing the forest, building factories, and perhaps even raising sheep. In the meantime, I'm finishing the mowing, and will then start forming perfect rows from the previously cut grass. Soon enough, I'll have to lease a bale wrapper to create these silage bales, letting them ferment and fully mature until they're perfectly ready for sale. Just look at how perfectly these rows are lining up right now. My rake, while not the priciest, is quite broad, and enables me to perform my field work with real efficiency and absolute cleanliness. I really must admit, it's incredibly satisfying to witness the once chaotically scattered grass transform into perfectly neat lines, all ready for immediate baling. Raking is truly one of the most satisfying stages of all. Out of all this chaos in the field, perfect lines suddenly emerge, just begging to be baled up and processed. I have to make sure the rows are even and dense, because any mistake now means losing precious seconds when making grass bales. Half the episode is already over, and I still haven't produced a single finished bale. My neighbor is clearly leading this race, driving back and forth to the collection point. He's probably in desperate need of cash to pay for all of his next very expensive toys and new equipment. And I totally jinxed it. Just a moment of inattention, a turn too sharp, and now my tractor's lying helplessly on its side. Luckily, my neighbor showed his human side and helped me get back on my wheels. Without his help, I probably would have had to use super strength, which at this stage of the series would be a personal failure for me. Finally, the very first bales are coming out of my baler. The baling machine that I rented is truly doing a fantastic job, I must say. However, a traditional square baler would have been much more pleasant to operate and work with. On the recording, it appears to run smoothly, but in reality, the constant stopping and restarting of the machine can severely test a farmer's patience. Even though this baler is truly testing my patience, let's look at the other side of the coin, shall we? My brand new bale wrapper. I leased it for only $867 a month, which, considering our zero startup funds, is simply a brilliant and exceptionally economical move. It's affordable, efficient, and best of all, it picks up bales from the ground, so I don't have to manually struggle with them. I felt like I was starting to get back on track financially, and my low-cost strategy was working perfectly. But then, I took a look over at my neighbor's island, and my smile just completely disappeared from my face. Unfortunately, the news from the neighboring island is unsettling. My neighbor just bought himself a really massive tractor and a set of 3 mowers, all at the same time. We're technologically far behind, but remember the costs. Leasing a giant like that costs a fortune. My cheap tactic might bring in a bigger net profit in the end. One of the bales almost escaped straight into the ocean, so I ran to stop it, so the fish don't get a luxury bed. Time is pressing, so without any further delay, I'm starting to wrap my very first bales. I have to admit, the FS Master has built a solid lead when it comes to speed, so every second in this field is now worth its weight in gold. In my recent series, beginnings were tough, I always ended up in back. But don't worry, I haven't had my final say yet. Let's get this wrapped up quickly, and then I'm back to mowing, because there's still a ton of grass on the island. At this very moment, my biggest dream is to somehow get over to that other densely forested island. I'm trying to figure out the cheapest and most effective way to transport those massive tree trunks from there. I have a bit of a secret plan. The modification with the Tajfun winch should perfectly pass the test when dragging wood across this deep trench. The only question is, can our trusty little Landini handle such a load, or will it get stuck halfway? We still need to gather a bit more cash before we dive headfirst into the deep end, so I'll finish up mowing and get the area ready for a potential crop field. The FS Master and I decided to take a bold step and fast forward time, so our bales can quietly ferment under the sun. I'm currently in the red by $1,400, so I desperately need to deliver at least one bale to the collection point as quickly as possible to get back on my feet. Just take a look at my neighbor over there. He's got a clever trick up his sleeve, using an ordinary self-loading wagon to haul those bales around. It's a bit glitchy and unnatural, but in the fight for survival, all's fair it seems. Though I prefer to stick to my more traditional methods. I'm loading all my green blocks onto the trailer and trying to stack them as stably as possible. There's quite a substantial amount of them, so I'll probably need to stack them 3 layers high to transport everything in a single trip. Now for the hardest part, the drive to the collection point. I really have to be incredibly careful around every single turn, because if I go too fast, all of my hard work will just end up in a ditch, and my neighbor will have to rescue me with his tractor again. Success! Everything's been sold, and a hefty sum of over $19,000 in fresh cash has just landed in the account. This is the moment I've been waiting for. I'm going shopping to pick out a powerful Massey Ferguson, so I can have a solid machine that isn't just a copy of my neighbor's. Along with that, I'm choosing the Tajfun winch and a gas-powered chainsaw. Let's go immediately and test this equipment in action. Look at this deep ditch separating the islands. The tractor has no chance of passing through here without completely flooding its engine. My strategy involves dragging the logs directly across the water using a cable. Even though wood floats perfectly in real life, the physics in Farming Simulator are unforgiving, and anything that falls into the river immediately sinks to the bottom. Therefore, I must employ the full power of my new tractor, and a touch of technical ingenuity to extract these logs onto the riverbank. This won't be an easy operation, but if we want to make millions from timber, we truly have no other choice but to fight through all these difficulties. It's finally moving. FS Master even came over to personally watch me struggle with the winch, probably looking for inspiration for his own plans. Even though the logs fall deep into the ditch, the Tajfun is handling it surprisingly well, slowly snatching this valuable loot from nature. It is incredibly satisfying to witness my plan slowly but surely taking shape. Working with this equipment is an absolute joy, and I am certain that logging will be precisely what allows us to dominate this series and leave my neighbor far, far behind. The investments continue, so I bought a professional mower set for the front and back of the tractor. Now, the work is going incredibly fast, and its working width lets me mow huge portions of the island in mere moments. In the places where I left cut grass before, we now have a double layer of material, which will translate into a record number of bales. In the next episode, we're going to dive into massive scale baling, wrapping up everything possible to amass an even larger fortune. The competition is getting more and more intense. Just look at that thick double layer of cut grass. This is going to be a real goldmine for bales in the next episode. The Massey Ferguson with the new mower set is tearing through it, and I finally feel like I'm the one calling the shots on this island and no longer have to worry about my work pace. Tomorrow's plan is simple. We're going to make so much silage it'll make my neighbor's jaw drop. This is going to be our big financial breakthrough. Everything seemed to be under control, buttoned up to the last detail. But then, quite unexpectedly, I noticed the FS Master suspiciously hovering near my timber. I immediately need to check what he's scheming now, because this doesn't look like a simple neighborly visit. I simply cannot believe my eyes. Are you seeing this, folks? The FS Master just brazenly drove right up and is actually stealing my hard-earned wood from the island. He made wood chips and is driving off to sell them just like that. This is just straight up theft in broad daylight. I'm not letting this go. I promise you, in the next episode, revenge is going to be incredibly sweet. Stay with me, subscribe to the channel, and wait for the next part, because this war for the islands is just getting started. We started from complete scratch, having only an old Landini and massive ambitions on hand. We mowed every inch of grass, fighting for our first dollars, while the FS Master was scheming how to beat us. But once I finally invested in proper equipment and a winch to conquer the entire island of trees, my neighbor truly showed his real colors. He brazenly drove up and stole my first wood from the island. Today, the jokes come to an end. Welcome to the second episode of our island adventure, one-on-one with the FS Master. Today we're kicking things off with a total of $6,100. This is the outcome of all our tireless efforts and the fast forwarding of time, as I brought up in the previous episode. The plan for this morning is quite straightforward. Our entire island has been mowed, so now we need to arrange neat rows and begin baling everything efficiently to finally earn some substantial cash for further development. If you're enjoying this epic showdown and want to witness my neighbor receive a harsh lesson for his despicable behavior, then be sure to subscribe. I want to reach 100,000 subscribers on this channel as quickly as I possibly can. I hope you will help me reach that goal. In this episode, I am throwing all my resources at this forested island. Transporting these logs across my wretched moat is quite the challenge, but I've got a solid plan. I'm just going to fill in this deep trench, creating a stable, easy passage for my trusty Massey Ferguson. But wait a minute, look over there. What is that neighbor scheming now? That looks like a professional logging winch. The neighbor apparently decided to use that new logging winch that came with the farming expansion. I have a much cheaper and, in my opinion, far more effective way to do this. My Tajfun winch has significantly improved power, and I truly believe I can haul all these logs faster and at a lower cost than he'll ever manage to get them prepared and securely attached to those lines. We'll see whose strategy turns out to be better in this race. Now that the terrain is prepped, it's time for some serious shopping. First on the list is a decent wood chipper and a new trailer. I had to get the version with high sides, because on my current flatbed, the wood chips would blow away with the first strong gust of wind. There's no workshop on the map, so instead of messing around with trying to configure some old equipment, I just bought a brand new trailer. The cost of it all turned out to be really quite reasonable, and building my own workshop made absolutely no sense at this stage. We must account for every single penny, as any incorrect decision could end up costing us dearly. It's finally time to fire up this beast and find out how it deals with our island trees, which are only waiting to be processed. At the very beginning, I had some minor technical problems with it, because I'm not as skilled with a wood chipper as my neighbor is. The FS Master has been in the forestry business for a long time, and he makes everything look so easy. I still have a lot to learn to match his pace. And that's where the real struggle started. I genuinely don't know what kind of dark magic the FS Master employs to make entire trees vanish into his machine in an instant. I'm really struggling here, even with the smallest branches. I'm cutting everything into tiny pieces, and yet, this machine still resists, and just won't cooperate with me. I specifically edited out my most unsuccessful attempts, so you wouldn't have to watch me struggling for dear life with these pieces of wood, and consequently losing my patience. This is nothing short of a tragedy. It's truly astonishing how stubborn and troublesome these deciduous trees can be in this new farming environment. This trailer is completely full, brimming with chips. I need to go sell this now, so my account gets a significant cash injection. Just look at this trailer, it's bouncing on the grass like it's possessed. This looks incredibly comical. Oh, come on. My neighbor's stealing from me again, right before my eyes. Did you see that? Everything spilled right into his trailer because he shamelessly parked there. I made $27,500 on that course, but the FS Master just completely trolled me, and now he's laughing straight into my face. I literally handed him free money because my wood chipper was pouring excess directly into his setup once my trailer reached a full 100%. He's constantly pulling some dirty games and tricks. First, he was stealing wood, and now he's parking under my wood chip pipe. We talked about it, and he openly admitted that he had placed his rig there specifically to capture all of my excess overflow. This is simply world class when it comes to annoying the neighbor. I really need to get back to baling right away, just to catch my breath and steady my nerves before the next stage begins. I just sold another load, and now I've accumulated $50,790 in my account. The wood made good money, but it could have been much better if it weren't for my neighbor's kindness. This old baler is absolutely irritating me. It's tragically slow, and I simply don't have the patience to work this way. I'm returning it to the shop with absolutely no regrets and getting something that will significantly speed up our production on this island. I'm going for a baler with a built-in wrapper. The lease costs almost $6,000, which is a huge risk with our budget, but we have a whole island of trees, so we'll make it back somehow. The biggest advantage here is that I won't have to make 2 trips to the same location. This could be my one true advantage against my neighbor, as long as he doesn't go and buy the very same thing right away. The FS Master copied every good idea I have, just like I sometimes peek at his. On this tiny patch of land, it's really hard to come up with a unique strategy. We'll see what we do when we run out of bales on this island. We'll probably have to deal with the forest or try to create another piece of land. But that's where the real challenges began. When I was recording this episode, terrain editing in Farming Simulator's multiplayer mode was a total nightmare. Everything operated with a truly giant delay. Just imagine the islands physically taking shape about 10 minutes after you've actually finished piling them up. This is a tragedy that makes you really not want to build anything bigger, but we're left with no choice if we truly want to grow. I'm leasing a second tractor to speed up the pace of work. I want to make this crossing to the second island through the water right away. It cost a bit of money, and with all this lag, I'm just winging it. Now I just have to be incredibly careful not to test the river's depth with my own tractor, because the bottom here is exceptionally treacherous. We're starting to chip my favorite pine trees now. These are the tall ones that go into the wood chipper without any resistance whatsoever. It's pure satisfaction. The pine trees in this farming simulator look great, but cutting them down is a whole different challenge now. In the last part it was much simpler. You'd saw, the branches would vanish, and that was it. It should probably work that way here too, but I just can't seem to trim these branches. It's not working for me. Thankfully everything's stable and we have no major physics issues in multiplayer. The one thing that's truly agonizing for us here is the terrain editing, seriously. It's the true Achilles heel of this version of the game, especially when building islands. Unfortunately, my favorite and easy to process pine trees have just run out. Now I have to fight with these branching monsters that are really hard to shove into the wood chipper without muttering under my breath. I really truly want to extend my heartfelt thanks to all of you for generously leaving so many subscriptions. We're going for a record. Like I've said before, I really want to hit 100,000 on this channel. It is absolutely amazing how rapidly our community is expanding. Tell me when you began watching my videos, and if you first checked out my other channel, Not Farming, where the videos lack voice commentary, or perhaps you've only just stumbled upon my channel now. I got so carried away talking about plans and memories that I completely let my guard down. It happened. I can't believe it. I drove the tractor into the water. Engine flooded. Machine immobilized. This is just a disaster. In 1 second, the entire plan for this episode could have ended up at the bottom of the river, along with the wood chipper. It was pure terror. I had tens of thousands of dollars of product in the chipper, and I didn't know if the chips would just vanish after resetting the equipment. If that had happened, I would have been bankrupt at the very start of the series. I tried everything imaginable to get it out, but the ditch was simply too deep. I had to take a chance and reset. Fortunately, the wood chips in the tank remained intact. I saved my fortune, although my pride took a serious hit from such a stupid mistake. I simply couldn't see precisely where I was driving. Now I must laboriously unload all of this onto the trailer, and with such a large amount of material, it's taking an incredibly long time. The unloading takes forever because this wood chipper has some kind of magical huge tank inside. Seriously, you can load tree after tree into it, and it just keeps taking more. It's time to whip up some of our famous marshmallows. That's what you call them in the comments, and I must say, the name truly fits perfectly. I always choose white wrap because the colored ones just don't appeal to me visually. White bales on a vibrant green field truly look the best. Everything appears precisely as it should. Unfortunately, Farming Sim is starting to act up again. There was a server lag, and my neighbor got kicked from the game. Luckily for all of you, that was just an imperceptible cut, and my neighbor is now safely back on his own island. However, the real problems will only begin later, during the terrain editing phase. I know this as I'm recording this commentary after filming the episode. So get ready for a solid dose of frustration in the next part. And now, I'm activating Ultra Turbo mode to collect all the grass that's been raked into rows on this island. Real movie magic. Now I have to wrap all the bales I left earlier. Selling just the grass is a complete waste of money. It's simply not worth it at all. Each wrapped bale is worth around $1,300 after fermentation, so the price difference is truly gigantic. Every $1,000 on these limited islands is now worth its weight in gold. I wonder what the FS Master is up to in the meantime. I bet he's cutting wood like crazy to earn as much money as possible and get an advantage. So, please do let us know in the comments what you think about the situation on our farms. Who do you think is leading this race? It's only the second episode, but the differences in equipment and technique are already visible with the naked eye. And there it is, I've run out of baling wrap. In this version of the game, the wrap disappears in a flash, and the worst part is, I had to spend several $1,000s on a whole pallet. You can't buy just one roll, and with our limited funds, that really hurts us twice over. If you know any way to buy it cheaper, you have to let me know. Wrapping bales with this particular wrapper may not be the quickest process, but it's very likely the last time I'll even bother with it. After all, I now possess a baler that automatically wraps the completed bales in film. Only a few stragglers left here. Alright, let's risk it all. I'm going to try to create a completely new island now. You'll see for yourselves how tragically it works. I swiped with the terrain painting brush, and the effect was so delayed that I was already somewhere else entirely. Money's vanishing from my account quicker than wood chips in a chipper. We're in the red. Account balance, negative $1,000. I have no choice but to go back to the forest and keep grinding to get out of this debt. Minus $5,000. I have no idea where that number came from. Some leasing fees probably piled up. These branch trees are my punishment for being ambitious. Apparently the FS Master has some magic trick where the whole tree disappears in a second. Meanwhile, I have to struggle with it. I'm trying to pick the smaller pieces, because I really don't like shoving these giants in with super strength. It looks unnatural, and I prefer to maintain at least a little bit of realism. Small birches like this are truly a waste of time. They yield so few wood chips, yet require the same effort as a massive pine. Dealing with these branches is an absolute nightmare. I swear I'd rather toss this tractor into the water for a second time than try to force this entire log inside. It's just not worth the trouble. I really have to meticulously snip off each individual branch. Here, the FS Master clearly holds a massive advantage over me with his dark magic of wood chipping. And to top it all off, my neighbor just rolled up and shamelessly swiped a tree that I had painstakingly managed to get off the island. I simply have no words for this guy. There has to be some justice in this situation. Therefore, I promise you I will definitely reclaim what rightfully belongs to me. Just look at that island right in the middle there. The FS Master has turned it into one enormous parking lot for all his machines. Spoiler alert, this is how it'll look for most of the series. I have over $67,000 in my account now, so I'm going back to finish my new, hellishly expensive island. I've gone and spent all the money once more, and now we're in the red again. What's worse, because of the lag, I accidentally made a dent in the terrain that I can't seem to level out now. If you want to try your hand at this map, you'll find the link to my Patreon in the description. Now you can play peacefully without lag. For us, it was simply an outdated game version. I also sold our small starter tractor. Since we owned it outright, I got a bit of extra cash, which I'm about to put to very good use. I'm planting trees that can actually be chipped quickly and easily. I'm planning to create a crop field on the new island. I'm renting a cultivator, a seeder, and buying seeds and fertilizer. This island has already set me back over $100,000, and I'm honestly concerned that with such colossal expenses, I might never recoup my investment. But, as they say, no guts, no glory. Unfortunately, the free terrain editing feature just didn't work here. The mod was supposedly active, but in multiplayer the game plays by its own rules. Every single scoop of the shovel is another painful blow to my wallet. This new island of mine is so massive that it takes around 30 seconds just to create a new field on it. I'm marking out the field's shape, moving the bales aside, and praying that this rapeseed will save my budget. My account balance is now a miserable $2,700. This is just a joke. If I had bought a greenhouse instead of this island, I'd be rich by now. Instead, I have a patch of sand that I'll still have to rent a harvester for. I did notice one trick though. The chipper works much better if you feed several logs simultaneously. It just disappears into the machine quicker that way. The physics of this farming game are quite odd, but I won't argue. I'll finish chipping this tree, then head straight to the middle island, hoping to really boost my budget by quite a bit. Selling another load of wood chips. I was hoping for 50,000, but I barely got 21. My earnings today are absolutely tragic, and I wasted most of my money just building this ridiculously tiny island. The only thing left for me to do now is to plant even more trees on the forest island, hoping to rake in some serious cash in the future. I definitely need a significant cash injection. At the end of the day, I bought some more fertilizer, and then I realized my seeder doesn't have a fertilizer tank. Another $2,000 thrown away because I wasn't paying attention. I hired a worker on the new island to plant rapeseed for me, and I myself returned to my original island to complete the preparation of the field, where I'll most likely sow rapeseed again later. I don't have a better idea of what to plant here right now. Rapeseed will most likely be a good choice. If you're still watching this episode, feel free to drop a comment saying "Still Series." Also, take a moment to check the description, where you'll find equipment from our sponsor, who supplies computer gear for all my giveaways. I have just one more pass left to complete, and then this new field will be perfectly ready for sowing rapeseed. I'm taking the tractor with the seeder, and this time I won't hire a worker. I'll do it myself, much faster than he would. This was a long and crazy episode. The island is ready, even though my wallet is empty. If you don't want to miss the next epic struggles with lag and that thieving neighbor, make sure to hit that subscribe button. This series will run for at least 6 more episodes, so the real excitement is genuinely just kicking off. Thanks for being with me. Be sure to check out the playlist in the description, and I'll catch you all soon. We started from scratch, with just an old Landini and big ambitions. We mowed every inch of grass, fighting for our first dollars, while the FS Master conspired to drive us away. Welcome to the 3rd episode of our Island one-on-one series. We're back in the game, back on our own territory. No slacking off today. I'm heading straight to the familiar Timber Island. The goal for this episode is clear: to cut and process enough timber to finally afford a sawmill and leave the Black Lord in the dust financially. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the perfect time. Hit that notification bell, because the rivalry with my neighbor is getting more intense. I really need to hurry with these trees. The FS Master likely already firing up his chainsaw on his part of the map. Knowing him, he'll soon start scheming how to steal my wood, or at least park his trailer right under my nose. He has this weird tendency to borrow my wood chips straight from the wood chipper, so I need to have eyes in the back of my head. It's smooth so far. Machines hum, but tension mounts. Every second of downtime is his chance. I won't let him rob me. Today, I'm going to be the king of the islands and earn more than my neighbor. Technique is key. It's best to cut the tree into 3 equal parts. I've said it, but I'll repeat it. You throw in 3 logs at once, and the chipper grinds them together. No messing around with individual branches. This is pure efficiency we're fighting for, so the FS Master can only watch and be jealous. I wonder how much we'll snag for this haul. I'm selling everything now. While I'm at it, I invite you to check out my Patreon, where you'll discover this map, along with my other maps and all the mods I'm currently using. If it weren't for this infinite tank in the wood chipper, it wouldn't be this easy. And there you have it, 37,600 for a single trailer. This is a powerful cash injection. I'm hooking up the seeder immediately. I'm not going to waste any time, so I'm sending a worker to sow the rapeseed. Meanwhile, we need to take care of what's been left behind after the mowing, our silage bales. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten an automatic trailer yet, so I've got some manual labor ahead of me. This is the part of the episode where I test my patience and my loader skills. But hey, on the islands there's always something to do. No boredom here, whether it's trees, bales, or battling crazy workers. I'm loading these bales by hand, and it's actually going pretty well. I think I can cram about 12 of them into this load. Need to keep busy so I don't watch the slow growth of this rapeseed. Each bale is additional money that brings me closer to ultimate victory. Time for a real investment. I'm building greenhouses. I'm choosing a spot right here at the very edge. 37,000 is going into play. Passive income is fundamental in a one-on-one match. But wait, here comes the best part. It was only after the fact that I realized I'd built the more expensive glass versions, which produced the same amount as the plastic ones. Oh, just brilliant. I ended up spending even more money, all just to make it look a little bit nicer. These greenhouses are still cool to me. I associate them with profit. You live and learn from your mistakes, but luckily the greenhouse is already working. Production has started, and I'm firing the worker. I see I can finish sowing this rapeseed faster myself than this AI expert. Field sown, job done, and look, the neighbor's flying over to fast forward time. Classic. He always wants to speed up when I'm halfway done. But alright, everything's ready, bales collected, field prepped, so let's fast forward. Now just look at the account. Negative 21,000 to start. The wallet always feels the pinch the most after fast forwarding. I sold the bales and now we're at negative 6,000. A quick wallet recovery. One more transport and we'll break even, and then we'll start making a clear profit. My main goal now is a harvester. Without our own rapeseed machine, the FS Master will prevail, and that simply cannot be allowed. I really need to sell everything I have right now. A harvester is absolutely essential to manage the fields we've planted. I hope the rapeseed will let me pay off the lease payments, because our little islands are so small, there's no room for financial mistakes. Literally, there's absolutely no space for anything at all. We lack the land for fields, for machinery, for everything imaginable. This is a constant battle for every square meter, and the terrain editing, at the time of this episode's recording, is an absolute travesty. I await an update. Painting anything is pure torture. The transport is loaded and ready, so I'm heading to the shop as quickly as possible to sell it off. We've managed to earn well over 15,000, so we're no longer in the red at all. Currently, there is exactly $9,400 in my account. I still have a lot of silage bales left to collect, so there's no time to waste. I'm loading up another transport to make some more cash. I'm getting better and better at stacking these bales. I'm loading transport after transport, but I won't deny it would be really nice to use a trailer with an automatic bale loader. There will be a time for that, but right now I need to focus on other things. The trailer is practically buckling under the weight of these bales. I'm off to sell them, and a nice sum should hit the account. And look at that. Over $19,000 just landed in the account. The balance is already nearing $29,000. It's high time to rent a harvester and commence the long-awaited rapeseed harvest. Hopping in the harvester. I'll do this manually, because by the time a worker turns this machine around in such a tight space, I'll have already done 2 passes. After the rapeseed harvest, it's back to wood and grass, as the sawmill won't fund itself. Rapeseed goes under the knife. I need to cover the next few months of equipment lease payments. I just noticed that one silage bale was left on the edge. I'll definitely have to grab that later on. Nothing should ever go to waste. Since we fast forwarded time, the goods in the greenhouses must have multiplied. I need to get over there and urgently sell those pallets. It might only bring in a few thousand, but with my gigantic budget deficit, every single dollar helps save my farm from financial ruin. I've harvested one rapeseed field, just the one on my new island remains. I'm working at lightning speed. This island is tiny, so there isn't that much rapeseed. Once the field is harvested, I'll go directly to sell the collected rapeseed. The tank was only filled to 31%, yet I still made almost $7,000 from it. Now my account balance is $28,765. I'm hitching up my small trailer now and heading out to collect the vegetable pallets that the greenhouse has produced. I have to sell them. It's always an extra few $1,000s in the bank. Oh, would you look at that? The Black Lord was kicked out from the server. Something happened with my neighbor. Maybe someone up there is rooting for me and wanted to give me a little head start? Too bad it only lasted a minute, so I didn't even have time to really get going with the work. I've got all the pallets loaded up and I'm off to sell them. I never expected to earn so much from just a few vegetable pallets. Over $20,000 for a single haul like this. I'm heading back to the wood island at full speed. I'm taking advantage of the fact that my rival is nowhere in sight. I need to harvest enough to cover the cost of that cursed sawmill. Let me know in the comments how you all are enjoying this island series. Do you prefer this one-on-one style, or maybe a classic single player? I await your feedback, as it fuels these episodes. While you're at it, feel free to play a little guessing game. Write in the comments what you guys think I'm going to do next, after this whole endeavor. This will be a small test of your intuition. Whoever guesses what I'll buy, or what I'll screw up next, will get a heart, and maybe even a prize in the future. The wood chipper devours trees one after another. It's quite efficient. I'll head out soon to sell the wood chips I've made so I can keep investing in equipment. This will suffice for the moment. I'm off to sell it, and then we'll find out just how much I can earn this time. I sold this load for almost $10,000. Not bad at all. I'm doing a quick garage check. I really need to get rid of all these useless mowers and junk. They're costing me a fortune in leasing. I should have returned them ages ago, but in the heat of battle with the neighbor, one tends to forget bureaucracy. Each penny saved on payments gets me closer to my goal, $150,000 for a sawmill. But first, a quick mow of the grass. I want the bales to be waiting for me next month, all wrapped and ready to go. There isn't much grass here, so I have to use every inch of green. And while we're at it, take a look at this investment of a lifetime of mine. I created this second island for about $100,000, and let me tell you, it's a disaster. Right now it's giving me nothing. It's more like a tiny island in a pond than land for a proper farm. So far, I've maybe made back 5% of it, thanks to the harvested rapeseed. But I'll stop complaining now. Just like I'm finishing up mowing this patch of meadow, you just have to keep working and everything will work out. It's time for more logging. I've currently accumulated 58,000, so I'm still short about 90,000 for the sawmill. Just a few more trips and we'll be home. Afterward, I plan to go into the greenhouses, and I mean big. Even if I have to build artificial underwater islands. Can you even imagine that? Water greenhouses. We might earn slightly less from automatic sales, but it's much better than leaving empty space on the water. I've chopped down a few trees and I'm currently selling the wood chips so the money can finally be deposited into my account. I have a plan for how to spend it. This sale got me $10,000. I'm returning the small trailer and upgrading to something serious. I'm buying a class whose capacity was modified by the FS master himself. Well, at least my neighbor was useful for something for once. This trailer is perfect for large amounts of wood chips, and even though the wood chipper has an infinite buffer, I'd prefer everything to land nicely in the back instead of disappearing into some magic hole. This gives me better control over how much cash I'm actually grinding. This time I'll spend a while in this forest grinding up many trees. That's the plan. I have to take advantage and cut down my trees before that thief of a neighbor comes and hauls them off my island for his own benefit. Let me know if you truly enjoy logging trees in Farming Simulator, or perhaps you dislike forestry work completely. I like the profits that wood chips generate, but honestly, this type of work in farming isn't one of my favorites. I'm cutting down and chipping even more trees to fill up the trailer as quickly as I possibly can. Then I'll need to replant some more trees, especially if I can get a sawmill built, which I should totally get done in this episode. I wonder how my neighbor's work is progressing. I have absolutely no idea who's currently ahead in our little duel. I truly hope I'm leading this competition, but our race still has a long way to go, so really, anything can happen at this point. You can place your bets on who will win. In a little while, we'll see who was right. I'm starting a worker to get this field ready for seeding. I think he can handle it. This will be a little test. I always try to regularly remove the stumps whenever I'm felling trees, so they don't spoil the look of my island. However, this time, I believe my neighbor probably stole a few pine trees while I was away, leaving behind only the stumps so that I would notice what transpired here. I'm heading straight to the selling point with another load of wood chips. My account balance has to keep growing, so I don't accidentally hand the win to my neighbor on the next island. It's not that easy. This is a real battle. This time, I processed a massive quantity of trees, earning over $50,000 from just this single haul. Let's keep up the good work. I'm off to sell this one stray bale of silage. Every little bit of extra money always helps out in the end. You know what? I just changed my sawmill plans. A new mower would really come in handy. One that makes windrows immediately. No more messing around with a tether and wasting time on double passes. We'll just lease a Pöttinger and handle it. Of course, as is typical for me, the mower immediately flipped over right there at the shop. Perfect, but it's fine. We'll hook up the front, then the back, and off we go. I need to return the old rear mower so I don't lose money. And that worker in the field, he did it once more. He quit the job halfway through. What's he thinking? I'll finish it. Not worth the stress. I really wish there was an option to just select a classic dependable worker. You know, one that just drives straight ahead and doesn't try to outsmart the GPS. These guys are supposed to handle weirdly shaped fields, but in practice, they get lost more often than they actually work. I just need someone who can hold a straight line, not someone who overcomplicates things. Now the mowing is going even better for me, and what's more, I won't have to waste time raking the grass into neat rows anymore, because my new mower handles it all automatically. This is a great convenience and will significantly expedite my work. With equipment like this, I can work a much larger area, but there's water all around, and creating new islands is expensive and works terribly. Alright, returning the equipment I don't need. The rear mower is back. Now it's time to make some proper rows so I can get rid of the rake. Since my new machine does it automatically, the rake is as useful to me as a screen door on a submarine. Fewer leased machines means more money available for sawmill development. We still have a good amount of work ahead of us before the day is over. There aren't many areas left to mow, so I should be able to finish up quite fast. Then we've got baling ahead. That always takes a while, but I must get a move on. The rows are finished. Now I just need to make the bales, and I likely won't need the old rake much longer, so I can take it back to the store, but I'll get to that in a little while. In the meantime, I also sent a worker to the field to sow rapeseed there. Presently, I've got over $110,000 in my account. However, that still falls short of the $150,000 I absolutely need to construct the sawmill. I need to go back to the forest very soon and continue grinding trees into wood chips in order to earn the remaining amount of money I need. Making bales is going pretty smoothly. Next month I'll have a lot of silage to sell. I'm really happy about that. Quick trip to the forest island. My neighbor's still not around, so I'm taking advantage. I have to cut down all the normal trees that are still left here. These straight pines are perfect for chipping. I'm saving the big, thick, branched ones for dessert. They'll go straight to the sawmill. The chipper can't handle them without my help. Look at this progress. I'm really getting the feel for this machine now. Chipping is merely a formality at this point. The trailer's already halfway full, meaning wood chips are accumulating rapidly and densely. 120,000 liters of capacity in this class trailer is a whole lot. If we fill it up to 100%, we'll make a fortune on the transport alone. The FS Master will surely turn green with envy the moment he lays eyes on my bank account. The topography of this island always presents a persistent challenge. The log consistently jams on every longer section, so I'm reverting to my strategy of cutting them into 3 distinct pieces. This is the golden rule. Smaller pieces, no blockages, maximum profit. Truly. I really don't recommend wrestling with entire trees unless you possess the patience of an angel, and I'm definitely lacking that today. The trailer is packed with wood chips, so I'm heading to the sell point, and that should be enough for the sawmill. Plus $53,000. Perfect. The account balance is over $160,000. It is now time to invest a full $150,000 and construct the sawmill. This is a serious investment that should pay for itself many times over. I'm hooking up the logging winch, and then I'll be heading over to load whole trees straight into the sawmill to get production started. Finally, I have something to do with these awful trees that won't go into my wood chipper. I'm cutting down one of the biggest trees to see if I can get it into the sawmill without chopping it into smaller pieces. I'll lend a little hand with a bit of superhuman strength, and that should definitely do the trick. As you can all see, I managed to shove that entire tree into the sawmill, and it yielded nearly 20,000 liters of wood, which will now be processed into various types of planks, ultimately earning me a small fortune. The next big investment I need to save up for will be building a furniture factory, to make even better use of the planks from the sawmill and turn them into expensive furniture. I cut down another tree, but on this occasion I was forced to divide it into smaller sections, as the sawmill refused to accept it in one piece. Just a couple more trees like this, and the sawmill will be full until it processes what I've dropped into storage. I've fully loaded the sawmill and kicked off production, but we'll get to that very soon. We'll certainly see how everything turns out. Thanks so much for watching, for every thumbs up and every sub. Thanks to you, this series is progressing fast. Join me for upcoming episodes where the island battle truly intensifies. So long for now, everyone. See you all in the next one. We started in the middle of the ocean, with $0 in the account and big plans. Welcome to another episode of the 1 vs 1 series on the islands with FS Master. This is episode 4, and the plan for today is simple: to create a brand new island, something much bigger than what I managed to build before. Of course, there are going to be huge problems, because terrain editing while recording this episode is just working terribly. But I'll try to get this island built, and FS Master will definitely want to make something too. We'll see, maybe it won't be that bad. Maybe it won't blow up the whole server. Leave a sub if you haven't done so yet. As you can see, I managed to mow the field already during the greeting and intro, so we're really working at lightning speed here. Our sawmill has also managed to produce planks for us. We don't have furniture yet, just planks for now, but of course we need to sell those too. Speaking of selling, I just sold all the grain I harvested at the start and made over $5,000. Despite this, I'm still $40,000 in the red. We need to make an effort to get out of this debt. If you want to play on this map, you can check out my Patreon. If you are my patrons, you have access to everything. All my maps and mods I use. I'm wondering if all of this will fit on the trailer. I'll eventually need to buy something better, but minus $40,000 in the account definitely doesn't make shopping easier. That's all I can say. I'm trying to arrange it to fit more, but the more I try, the more it falls off. It's better to make 2 trips and arrive whole than to lose 50% of the load on the way. This factory should give us quite a cash boost, and maybe that way we'll catch up with the FS Master, as his initial episodes went a bit better. He put in more effort, and maybe I adjusted a bit too slowly to how one earns in this farming. But now I know what I need to do. There will be lots of greenhouses, lots of factories, not just silage. As you can see, I sold the first shipment and I'm already $16,000 in the black. That comes to about $56,000 for a full trailer. And actually, I only sold about 1/3 of what the sawmill produced. It's a pretty good deal with this sawmill, no complaints there. As I expected, waste is also produced, namely sawdust, and sawdust can be sold too. Extra money always comes in handy. For now, I'll stack these smaller pallets, and I'll leave those long planks. I won't be selling them for now. I don't need to. I also need to deal with the trees and the terrain, because my goal is to create a new island. Any island really, it doesn't even have to be huge, as long as I can build something. From what I know, FS Master has plans for a big island, a very big island. So honestly, I'm a little worried about what will happen to the server. Will it all not explode? Because unfortunately, that's a possibility. It could all just explode at any moment. Crossing the water will soak these planks a bit, but maybe no one at the collection point will notice the wood is slightly wet. We already have over 100,000, specifically 110,000, and we still have bales to collect and sell, so there should be quite a bit more coming from this. I'll send a worker to prepare the field for sowing. I hope he'll manage this time, because last time he finished the job before he really started doing anything. He probably went around once and that's it. We're taking the equipment for sawdust. The last trees that are still here need to be cut down and put in the chipper because there are still quite a few trees. Only the smaller ones are so troublesome. It's just hard to work with them. I'm starting the chipper and going with the first tree. I'll be loading 3 at a time because I've mastered this technique quite well. As you can see, it's going quite smoothly. The tree is in 3 parts and everything gets chipped right away. With these small bushes, it's even worse than with big trees. The chipper doesn't want to take them in, but it should. Okay, never mind. We'll throw in a big log, it will definitely push the rest and everything will get chipped. I think it will soon be time to sell. Actually, maybe not. This trailer still has some room. Before, I didn't care and would load it onto the small trailer and the rest stayed in the chipper. So now from one extreme to another. I want to go sell with an empty trailer, and before it was 20 times more packed. It's already empty on the island. There's not much left to cut down. The worker finished the job perfectly. For now, that's enough for us. How much do we have here? 93,000 liters of sawdust. Litrów wiórów. I'll park it and try to load more sawdust from the factory. There was quite a bit of it. In total, we have 111,000 liters. That's quite a lot of waste collected. For a not fully loaded trailer of wood chips, we got 181,000. That's quite a substantial amount. I definitely need a self-loading bale trailer now, so I don't have to collect everything manually anymore. I'm renting the trailer for $2,575 a month. We're moving with this equipment, and I think it's time to start creating some island, but we'll see. For now, I'll just gather all the bales lying here, and then we can move on to the next tasks. We'll definitely need to send a worker to sow this field, and the other one I prepared in the previous episode. The grass is lying uncollected, but I'll gather that with the next mowing. We're selling the bales. So, here's the thing. 24,000 zloty for this transport. Well, it's not as impressive as the profits from the wood I sold earlier, but I have 308,000 in the account, so that's quite a lot. I'm returning the machines I won't need anymore. Now we can send a worker to sow. What should we sow here? Wheat. Let it be wheat. We could buy some chickens, although I'm not particularly drawn to chickens right now. I prefer greenhouses. It has always been profitable and still is. Whether in farming 22 or farming 25, greenhouses work as they should. We're packing everything. Unfortunately, I only have one greenhouse for now. I'll need to build more, but we'll manage that somehow. We're selling the greenhouse products and some cash should flow in. 38,000. That's quite a lot. The greenhouse has already paid for itself several times over. I'm planting trees in advance, so they'll be ready for the next day after fast forwarding time, obviously for cutting. We're planting store-bought trees because in farming 25, natural trees are worse than in farming 22. You can't speed them up, so there's no point in planting them normally because they grow incredibly slowly. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, I encourage you to subscribe. There's a big subscribe button on the screen. You can click it and it'll be nice. I'll definitely be happy, and I think you will be too, because there will be many interesting videos. This is just the beginning, so the episodes will get better and better. Let's hope so. I started mowing. Luckily, my mower already automatically rakes the grass into rows. I won't have to rake it all with a rake, just immediately use the FS Master that wraps the bale in plastic for fermentation. As you might have noticed, under the grass I'm mowing, there are already rows of mowed grass. That's because I left them after the last mowing, and now I'm mowing the grass in the same place, and I'll collect it all at once. I wonder what FS Master is scheming on his island now. I don't know if he started building another island yet or not. From what I see, he's sowing something right now. He came to the store with a seeder, so he's not creating an island yet. At least nothing indicates that. I'll quickly check how it looks with that big chipper. Is it worth buying? I don't think so. I think my chipper is enough because FS Master just bought that big chipper on a truck and came to steal my wood. Since he's stealing my wood, I'll pretend I don't see it and start creating an island, and then I'll take back from his island what he stole from me with some interest for the loan. But as you can see, creating an island works terribly. I'm waving this brush and nothing is reacting. Money is flowing from the account, and it's unclear for what exactly. And it will keep editing like this for a few more minutes even though I stopped doing anything a while ago. It's just awful when it comes to terrain editing. It works terribly. I'll replace my greenhouse. I don't want the one I had before. Look what's happening with this island. It really works horribly. It's already eaten up 150,000 and the island looks like nothing has changed. It's still as tiny as before and I even lowered it. It might turn out that we'll be working in the water. Water may sometimes flood the island, but luckily in farming it doesn't matter. Normally that wouldn't work, but in the game you can easily work knee-deep in water. I was going to cut this out, but decided to show it to you. You know what happened? Suddenly all the USB components disconnected from my computer. The controller went crazy, the tractor went crazy, the farming went crazy, and I started driving in circles. Luckily, just in circles and not all the way to the other side of the map, which actually happened to FS Master in one of the episodes. When FS Master got kicked off the server, his tractor just kept driving forward far into the water. Fortunately, it's shallow, so he didn't drown, but he had quite a way to come back. That's for sure. I'm making some bales here, and soon we might be able to finish creating this island. Maybe the game will allow us. Quite a few bales should come out. As you can see, the neighbor has already left with the wood transport from my island. I don't know why this neighbor has to keep stealing from my island. You have your own, and yet you're stealing here. I guess he wants his island to look nice, so he steals from me. What factories could we buy? Furniture, we could use furniture. I'll place them somewhere here next to the existing factory. We're taking out a loan because that's what we agreed with FS Master. $1 million for creating the island and general investments. That came from my neighbor's initiative because he wanted to create a big island and decided that since the game works as it does, we just have to take a loan to create the island. Maybe we can pay it back later, just to have something to play on because there's really no land here. No land, there's nothing to do without that loan. But I have an idea for something that will give me a big cash injection, and that's how I'll pay off the loan. Maybe there'll be enough for another island to create. As you can see, the money keeps leaving the account. I edited this passage, to make it nice to drive through. Now the money isn't leaving anymore. It stopped. You can edit further. I'm placing the factory I mentioned, but this ditch is in the way. I don't want to level the terrain because it just doesn't work. Plus, FS Master is also editing and creating his island right now. Even though only one person is doing it, the lag is gigantic. As you can see, I placed the factory. Oh wait, it actually got placed. I wanted to say I'm placing a factory and nothing happens. It's hanging in the air. The ground isn't preparing beneath it. But no, this time it worked. I'll start everything, switch to distributing goods to my furniture factory, and I think I'll place a greenhouse here, this time with mushrooms. As you can see, nothing is happening. I'm placing it, but the land isn't leveling. This is because of the terrain editing. FS Master is creating his island right now, and nothing is working for me. Even placing the greenhouse doesn't want to work. Oh, now it appeared. I guess he stopped editing and it started working. It immediately leveled all the land around the greenhouse. For nearly $1 million, I placed the greenhouse, and now they all need to be set to automatic selling. Let it somehow sell automatically. I don't know how they'll get in there, I don't know how they'll take it, but honestly, I don't care. The important thing is that the money will be coming into the account. The last pass this row and the row next to it, and then we can probably move on to cutting down trees. We definitely need to fill the sawmill. We definitely need to deliver wood to the sawmill and the furniture factory. The sawmill distribution will work automatically, but I can also add regular wood to make it a bit faster and last longer. Let's start by selling wood chips. For now, chips. Later, I want to fill the sawmills, but I'll throw in the uglier trees there. I'll choose the ugliest ones possible and throw everything in there. But for now, let's tidy up here a bit. In this episode, I didn't plant many trees, but I planted so many before that it's now hard to move around freely here. I just need to watch out so the neighbor doesn't place his trailer here, because he's going to be scheming. I'll reveal that this whole series is just neighbors bothering each other. Actually, the neighbor was bothering me more. He not only steals wood from the island, but also sneaks his trailer under mine, so I end up dumping onto it, then he sells it and makes money. And I don't pay attention, and sometimes I miss it. As I said, the ugliest tree goes to the sawmill. I'll remove this stump so it doesn't get in my way. I'll also throw in this tree. I've run out of those ugly trees. I wanted to throw this in too, but as you can see, it won't fit entirely. I need to cut it into smaller parts and try to fill the sawmill to 100%. The sawmill is full. 100,000 liters of wood are waiting to be processed into planks. We keep grinding. We have $2,000 in the account. The neighbor is probably building a big island there already. Luckily you can't see it here, but during terrain editing there's such lag on the server and few frames. I worried the whole episode during recording that it would look terrible, but from what I see in fast forward, you can't see it at all. That's good, because it could have really looked bad without the fast forward. How much more can fit on the trailer? Probably still plenty of space, so let's keep cutting. I wonder what the neighbor is up to over there. Maybe we can scout the area and they won't chase us away. Although I don't visit him too often. Almost never. He visits my island quite often, so I should return the favor and go there too. Maybe borrow some chips. I'll load the last tree and we'll go sell everything. Our account has gone into the red. Unfortunately, again. And things were finally looking good. 300,000 in the account and it's in the red again. But that will change very quickly. I've ground everything I wanted. Now I'm heading straight to the market to sell the load and get out of the red. As you can see, I made 184,000 PLN from this trailer full of wood chips. Now I'm turning on all the greenhouses and need to set them to automatic selling, turn on the irrigation and so on to get everything producing. There are so many greenhouses, it's hard to keep track of everything. The worker finished sowing, so I'm hopping in the tractor to take it back to my parking area where all my machines are. I'll grab a mower because I have a good idea. I'll make grass on the new island. It will be an island with grass. That's the plan. And I might be mowing in the water because this island seems a bit submerged. But we'll manage. I'm not afraid of the water here. Let's go. Is there a reasonable passage here? Not too shallow, not too deep. As you can see, the water is splashing under the wheel. We're working in the water. Although it's strange because this land is above the water, it must be some waves coming in, and that's why there's water all over the island. Otherwise, I don't know how to explain it. If the land is above the water, why is there water on the island? Why are we mowing the grass in the water? Never mind. The most important thing is we have 163,000 in the account. We can still invest it somehow. We'll finish mowing and move on immediately, as there's still plenty to do. But that's for the next episode. Subscribe to the channel and see you next time. We started in the middle of the ocean with $0 in the bank and really big plans. What's up everyone? Welcome to another episode of the 1 vs 1 series on the islands with the FS Master. We're starting off by making bales, but take a look at what's on the horizon. See that undeveloped island right there? It actually appeared between the 4th and this current 5th episode. I had some money in my account from the last episode, but terraforming here is so horrendously expensive and works so badly that I completely wiped out my account. I had to give up all I had, and on top of that, I even had to take a special grant to help me create this island. My island ended up costing around $1.5 million in total, whereas my neighbor's land leveling project came out to a massive $7 million. I did all this to even out the financial playing field and make sure we'd actually have something to do here. My neighbor, the FS Master, naturally agreed to it, of course. Well, how could he refuse, since he built an island for $7 million using a subsidy himself? Today, I really want to properly develop my land. We're about to start mowing the grass, although there's actually almost none of it here at all. What a total bust. I completely forgot that I pretty much mowed the entire island in the last episode, and we haven't even advanced time yet. I'll quickly mow these leftovers and give my neighbor a moment to get ready before we skip a day. The work is progressing at an incredible pace. My mower boasts a wide working width, so I'm quickly cutting down these remaining patches of grass. Just 2, perhaps 3 more passes and it'll all be mowed down. So for now, I'm just about done mowing this grass. I'm parking the mower in my machine lot, then I'll hook up the trailer and head on over to the forest island to finally get to the real work. I completely emptied my wallet, leaving me unable to even purchase a simple saw from the store. There's no time to wait, as long as that neighbor isn't up to something and stealing my forest. I'm grabbing a pallet of planks and running to the selling point just to get things moving. With absolutely nothing in my account, I cannot work. There goes the first full pallet of wood chips. $8,000 earned in an instant. Thanks to that, I could afford a chainsaw and really get started on cutting down some trees. Because of a multiplayer bug in Farming Simulator, I have to keep buying a new chainsaw. But oh, I see him now. The neighbor's arrived and he's shamelessly checking out my equipment. He'll probably back his trailer up here any second and steal all my hard work. He clearly wants to bankrupt me. I'm slaving away, sweating, cutting down trees and grinding them into chips, and he just shows up like a typical thief for the finished product. I won't even voice my thoughts aloud, or YouTube will take me down in a flash. We'll keep cutting and sell it right away. It's a great month for earnings, and wood prices are rocketing sky high. I'm recording this a while after playing. I think it was January, but no matter. The profits are rolling in big time. I wonder what the neighbor's up to over there. He's probably just scheming, trying to back up his trailer and pilfer my goods the moment I avert my gaze from the wood chipper. I need to make a lot of cash to cover my losses from building the island. Let me know in the comments if you also think I'm easily catching up to him with my equipment and overall farm development. And just like that, my neighbor is already pulling up with his trailer. He's gonna back right up and shamelessly try to block my exit. I wish he'd just give up on all these shenanigans already. This time I see he's at least trying to cut honestly, although those are still trees on my island. At least he's not stealing from my wood chipper this time. He tried to block me, but I found a clever shortcut and drove right through. He was in total, absolute shock, completely stunned, and I had just earned a whopping $184,000 in pure cash. I used my new shortcut to get back into the woods. He can try to block me, but I'll always find a way out to sell my goods. If you're also interested in playing on this map, or perhaps any of my other maps, feel free to join me on my Patreon. There you'll find all of my maps and all of the mods that I currently use. Oh, look at that! He got completely stuck and drove straight into the water. He fell into the lake with a trailer full to the brim with wood chips. Now he's completely screwed. I'm just going to keep grinding away with a smile, while he's left there to struggle in that water. Of course, the smartass won't lose chips. He'll just reset the tractor to the shop and get his equipment back. I'll admit it, I also fell into the water a moment later. I reset the machine, and thankfully, nothing was lost from that infinite tank within the wood chipper. The load is safely recovered, but I still have to keep an eye on the neighbor, because he's up to something again. I cut down tree after tree, grind everything into wood chips, and repeat this cycle over and over. Wood's like gold, so no complaints, just gotta do it. I'm leaving the wood chipper, hitching up the trailer, and heading directly to the dealership to sell what I've managed to grind up. For a total of 56,000 liters of wood chips, I've managed to rake in over $92,000. We've already managed to accumulate a total of $283,000 in our account. I'm driving up for a fresh trailer of wood, but hold on a minute. I still need to quickly make these darn bales before fast forwarding time. I have more than enough wood logs for the time being, but I absolutely don't want the cut grass to rot out in the field. I have to sell everything. And a quick reminder, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we're almost at the magical 10,000 subscribers, and from there it's straight to 100,000. Baling and wrapping is going pretty smoothly. The white marshmallows are popping out of my baler one after another. I am truly content with the decision I made to invest my money into purchasing this particular baling press. It truly streamlines and significantly speeds up my work. Alright, with such a massive amount of cash, I'm taking a big risk and building the very first greenhouses on my new island. And here's a super important piece of advice for all of you. Under no circumstances should you ever build those expensive glass greenhouses, as they are simply not profitable in the slightest. Only get the cheaper foil ones, because they are 100% just as efficient. I'm setting up mass production of lettuce everywhere, but I'm absolutely not turning on automatic selling. I'll be manually hauling these green pallets myself, since the automatic option cuts into my profits, and the pallet sales point is just around the corner. I wanted to add more goods to the sawmill to start, but it turned out the tanks were filled to the brim, so I took the rest straight to our furniture factory. Everything's connected in a truly cohesive supply chain, so let's fast forward 3 whole months. Now hold on to your seats, just look at the thousands pouring into my account right this very moment. These greenhouses, which I've set up for automatic selling, brought me well over $200,000 just from fast forwarding time. That's a gigantic amount of cash. I'm grabbing the trailer with autoload, and it turns out this feature actually works. I only found out about this miracle after manually loading dozens of pallets. I'm loading up some beautiful clean planks. That's several tens of thousands in additional cash for the rapid development of the island. A single pallet of these boards goes for 8,000 here, just one of them. We've loaded exactly 5 pallets, so 40,000 smoothly rolls in. Then I carefully loaded the rare manufactured furniture. There aren't many here visually, but remember, just one pallet of furniture is a true rarity, worth a fortune. I naively believed I'd make a $100,000 from this run. Ultimately, I ended up pulling in $60,000 from that sale, which is still a massive influx of funds, you know. Soon I'll finally have to harvest all this mature grain. I'm still debating whether to get into chickens or just skip it. For now, I'll collect these wrapped bales from the field to cash them in too. We'll see at the selling point how much we ultimately make on these white marshmallows. I definitely want to use these profits to decorate my currently barren island. I've got plenty of money, so I'm not planning on scrimping. One bale, quite mischievously, slid off and plunged right into the water. We've already got 75% of the entire trailer loaded up. Just 3 more bales, and I'll drop the full load at the selling point. I'll have to come back here for a second trip though, because it won't all fit in one go. For these 24 round bales, I was mentally betting on a massive profit of about $50,000. Unfortunately, my business plan is a bit weak today, because barely 30,000 showed up on the monitor. That comes out to just over 1,000 apiece, but this isn't the end. I still have many bales to collect from the field. They're all fermented and ready for sale. And thanks to that, I'll be earning tens of thousands more dollars. My self-collecting trailer is filling up at an express pace. In just a little while, another shipment is about to be sold. I've collected all bales from the first island. Now I'm driving to the second to continue collecting. The last bale's on the trailer. Now it's time to sell. I sold the entire load of silage. An extra $30,000 landed in my account, and the total balance is now well over $300,000. I still have a few bales left to collect. It won't be a full trailer load this time, but every $1,000 I can get will certainly help. $3,800 has been added to my account. Well, there's always something. Now I'll use this incredibly powerful autoloader to automatically load up dozens of lettuce pallets. This should bring in a crazy amount of money. I'm guessing around $200,000, sight unseen. There's no possible way that all of this is going to fit on just one trailer. I think we're looking at least 3 trips to sell this. The first load is packed full. Floor it, and let's go cash this in. And by the way, I wonder what the neighbor is cooking up. I can see from a distance that he's finally, passionately mowing his little grain field. The FS Master most likely strongly desires to get into flour production. Please let me know in the comments if you've seen him already build a mill at his place, or if he perhaps invested that fortune in a flock of chickens instead. Meanwhile, I dropped off the pallets at the selling point, and boom, I raked in a cool $127,000, and now I'm loading up the remaining pallets to really wring out every last dollar and absolutely maximize my earnings on this lettuce harvest. There was absolutely enough room to load up all the pallets I produced. The transport is completely full, 100%, $127,000. That's exactly what I made from selling all those lettuce pallets. My account balance currently stands at over $568,000. I wonder what my neighbor's account balance looks like right now. I hope he is behind me. The neighbor can't be doing better than me. I'm parking the tractor right now, and then I'm off to the shop. It's time to rent a brand new harvester. I'll be using this equipment for approximately $15,000 a month. I truly hope this investment proves worthwhile. We're taking on this powerful red Massey Ferguson, which I've just rented, and we're putting it through its paces. The truth is painful. My field's so tiny, I could have handled it just as quickly with some rusty old contraption. But whatever, I just really wanted a taste of luxury and a change of scenery at work. The mowing itself is going incredibly fast. With this new machine, I'll literally make just 4 short passes from edge to edge, and the entire field will be mowed. I totally wasted money on this rental, but hey, at least I have some luxury equipment. I really need to acquire more extensive tracts of land so that this colossal harvester has ample work to do and can ultimately pay for itself. But for now, I'm just going to turn it off and leave it alone. I'm calculating the profits in my head right now, and I'm quite certain we'll easily reach our first $1 million in this very episode. The rivalry with my neighbor is heating up like never before. But wait a minute, you need to remember one super important, overwhelming thing. We both took out a huge loan for development. We each have exactly $1 million of debt at the bank that we'll have to pay back someday. Honestly, I'd bet all the money in the world that neither of us is ever going to pay this bank loan back willingly. We're going to be stuck with these gigantic debts on paper until the very end of this farming series. I'm 1,000,000% sure the FS Master has already completely forgotten about his loan. Therefore, remember, when you're checking the statistics from our beautiful final balance, you will always have to subtract that nice round million fairly and squarely. Another trailer is filling up with wood chips. Log after log goes into the wood chipper. I'm cutting down more trees so I can head to the selling point and boost my account with a nice sum of money. Sold. Let's book the profits. And after this transaction, we already have a staggering $613,000 in the account. With over $500,000, it's definitely high time to start investing heavily. I could construct some highly profitable factories, skillfully design a network of access roads, or perhaps I might even be tempted to purchase a significantly larger tractor. But let's take it easy. First, my priority is to build some permanent infrastructure for the machines. I'm going to put up 2 massive, truly enormous garages right here on this plot of land. Realistically, I think these 2 sheds will be more than enough for now. I probably won't be cramming a whole lot in there or parking daily, but maintaining immaculate order at the base is absolutely imperative, and that's final. My plan is to later add a charming little house on the coast for relaxation, a delightful retreat. But first, we will dive into the serious business of decorating the raw terrain around the sheds, truly making it our own. I'm skipping the asphalt and tastefully choosing raw, hard concrete. So, I'm getting started on this big general cleanup of the farm's main yard area. Although, you know what? Why should I sweat for nothing and waste my precious time? I've just come up with a significantly better, brilliant business idea. I'm simply going to return all these machines that I'm no longer using at all. That way, I'll get rid of unnecessary costs and have less to clean up. Only a fool would keep pointlessly shuffling them from corner to corner, when, hand on heart, I have no intention of ever using them for any job on this farm again. I'm currently relocating all my equipment to the new shed. Finally, everything will be well organized here. My neighbor can definitely learn a thing or two about how things should look. His place is always a complete mess. His machines are even parked right there on the shop island. The machines are now under a roof, so it's high time to finally grab a paintbrush and at least superficially decorate this dismal island with some vibrant green grass. Without the grass, this entire area just looks like one enormous, depressing, muddy battlefield after some heavy struggles, or perhaps even a swamp. I'm meticulously and precisely painting fresh, vibrant green grass on my island. Let this place finally stop being such an eyesore and actually start looking aesthetically pleasing to everyone around here. In the back of my mind, I was planning and really wanted to create a massive, huge field for sowing in this specific episode. Because of this new and expansive field, I was eager to go shopping and purchase a significantly larger, more powerful tractor to tow the equipment. However, time, regrettably, is relentless and unforgiving, so we will delve into that in the following episode. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you all very soon. We started in the middle of the ocean with $0 in our account and big plans. Welcome to the 6th episode of our fierce one-on-one rivalry with the FS Master. First, I'm renting a powerful case quad track and a large cultivator to make a new field. Whoa, did you just see that? My neighbor bumped into me and then ended up in a ditch, sinking his tractor. That's what you call instant karma. Serves him right. I'll take my new purchase, and he can struggle to get his tractor out. The anti-neighbor campaign continues. This is payback for all those shameless trips to steal my wood and swipe materials from my trailer. I got to work creating a new field on the island we were dealing with in the last episode. It might not be absolutely gigantic, but for all of our current needs, it's going to be more than enough to suffice. Besides, I don't have open land for larger fields. With this new equipment, creating a field happens in a flash. And just like that, it's finished. And you, my friends, can take a quick moment to check out my Patreon and consider subscribing to the channel. Please let me know in the comments which country you're watching my videos from, and give this video a boost if you have that option. After creating the field, I decided to invest $300,000 in a barrel factory. I placed it next to the furniture factory, an extra option for processing my wood from the forest island. I instantly went to the island that was mentioned, and started cutting down the most unappealing twisted trees, planning to load them directly into the sawmill. Thousands of planks will need to be produced there to supply the barrel factory. The next step was to expand the field on the starting island. Since I have this large cultivator, I have to use it. We're now in the ultimate phase of our confrontation. All will be settled in this episode, and we'll witness the conclusion of my clash with the neighbor. The field has been expanded, so now it's time to spend some money and decorate my islands. In terms of investments, I'm a bit behind my neighbor, so I'll try to at least make my area look a whole lot better than his. We'll see if my artistic talents will prove to be of any use whatsoever. First, I'm planting trees everywhere, and some small bushes too. For $22,000, I'm putting up a house, a fence around it, and I'm starting to decorate the coastline and build roads. My islands are starting to look better and better. In my opinion, definitely better than my neighbor's islands, but I'll leave that for you to judge in the comments. The roads are finished, and now I'm heading straight to the shop to stock up on a giant cedar. For $6,000, I filled the cedar with seeds and fertilizer, and now I'm starting a worker to plant sugar beets in this field. Meanwhile, I'll be over on another island, mowing grass to prepare for baling it later on. Right now, I have barely $14,000 in my account, and that amount keeps dropping. Once everything is sown and all the grass bales are wrapped in foil, we can fast forward several months, and then my account balance will significantly increase once I've sold off all the produce. The grass on this island is mowed, so I'm heading to the next one to mow the rest of the grass I have left around my new house and the large field I created earlier. The worker has finished planting the beets, so I need to hire him again to do the exact same thing on this new field. With this equipment, work flies by. In a flash, the sugar beets were sown. I parked the tractor with the cedar and hopped into the John Deere with the baler. I'm quickly making bales across all 3 of my freshly mowed grass fields. I really can't wait to sell them, but first, I'm going to have to fast forward a few months, so everything ferments nicely. I managed to collect all the grass. Now there are dozens of wrapped bales lying on my islands. I can already smell the profits from the sale. Let's fast forward a few months. The money in my account is piling up fast. Everything's working as it should. The factories are producing, the grass bales are fermenting, and the sown beets are ripening for harvest. I'm renting a pallet collecting trailer and heading straight to my factories, because dozens of pallets filled with furniture, barrels, and other wood products are waiting for me there, which will probably earn me hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm loading as much as I can onto my trailer and going to sell it. Time to make some money, because that's what our 1 vs 1 series is all about. My neighbor can't be better than me. I have to beat him, earn more than him, and build a better farm than he did. We're getting closer to the finale, so I need to pick up the pace of earning. I've loaded up a full trailer and I'm off to sell it. Guess in the comments how much this load is worth. I earned $90,000 from selling these products. Frankly, I'm a bit surprised I made so little, but there's no point in being sad about it. I still have dozens of pallets of lettuce to sell. I'll just make a road to my greenhouses and get to selling. I'll definitely make more than $90,000 here. I'm loading up all these pallets to sell them. A few trips later, and the greenhouses are empty, but the amount in my account has definitely gone up. I have over $448,000, which means the lettuce alone brought in about $200,000. And I still have quite a few silage bales to sell, so I should easily be able to exceed $500,000. I'm currently collecting all the bales using my automatic round bale collecting trailer. Everything's collected, so I'm selling the last load now. Sadly, I couldn't quite reach $500,000, but it's still pretty good. I've already accumulated $486,000. I wonder what my rival's account balance on the other island looks like. It's time to rent some beet harvesting equipment, and then collect everything I had planted earlier. I'll get a worker started on the first field, and I'll get busy investing my money. I have $445,000, so that should be enough for me to build a sugar refinery. I'm always keeping in mind that at the very end of this episode, you all will be judging who performed better and ultimately won this duel. It's not even about the account balance. It's more about the big picture and the kind of farm we managed to build. I just put down a sugar refinery for $240,000. I truly believe this will be an excellent investment. My rival likely didn't put money into sugar beet processing, so I reckon I'm pulling ahead here. Sugar refinery's built, so now I need to supply it with raw materials. This field will produce hundreds of thousands of liters of beets. The sugar mill will be busy. Every single full tank holds 40,000 liters. While the worker was harvesting one tank of beets after another, I got busy cutting and chipping trees for wood chips to earn a little extra. I sold a trailer of wood chips for $25,000. Every so often I would haul trailers overflowing with sugar beets to the refinery and then get right back to cutting and chipping trees. I also filled up the sawmill so it has plenty of wood to process and send to the other factories to make furniture, barrels, and other products. I planted some new trees, ensuring my forest island wouldn't appear quite so ugly and barren. After that, I put another $100,000 into additional greenhouses, which are set to generate a significant passive profit for me. We've fast forwarded a few months. My account balance has grown from automatic sales at the factories, and now I need to sell everything that's on pallets waiting for transport. Finally, I can park the beet harvester under the shed. Everything's harvested, not a single beet left in the field. I'm selling the first trailer of lettuce pallets for almost $120,000, and that's just the beginning. The second load is sold, and another $117,000 just hit my account. All in all, I've already accumulated $415,000. I also sold products from the barrel factory, bringing in $73,000. Now I'm loading up the sugar we produced and I'm off to sell it. We're slowly running out of time. I need to sell everything, and we'll see what balance I can end this duel with. $39,000 came into the account for the sugar transport. To boost my account balance a little more, I'm going to chip even more trees and then make one last big delivery to the store. This will most likely be the final sale. No more chipping for me. I'm heading to the shop right now. I sell the load and $100,000 hits the account, bringing my total to over $624,000. This is the ultimate balance that I'm ending this whole duel with. We started off in the middle of the ocean, with not a single dollar in our bank account and grand plans, and we're ending with a final balance of $624,000. If you've made it to the very end of this video, go check out my rival's perspective and judge who won this duel.